Hello everyone, I am Dead Knight and this is In It to Win It. We are here with a preview of Fractured in Alterac Valley. Happy Hanukkah to everybody watching, and let's dive right into Mage. We're looking at the new set, what we think is the best, worst, and most interesting card for Mage. And first we'll do a little bit of a review of Mage. There's a couple archetypes that Mage has been pushing in standard. Obviously the most successful has been No Minion Mage, which has been punctuated by the new quest line. After a couple of nerfs, that is flagging pretty badly right now. It still can be viable, but really the key card in there is Ignite, which is the 2-mana spell that's going to be, deals 2 damage, goes back in your deck, and gets an extra damage every time it does that. So that's led to some pretty silly wild one-turn kills. It really enables questline Mage right now because as they draw through their deck, they can diversify their spell pool enough because they know that they have that ignite damage later down the road. There are a couple other what I would say failed archetypes, which is Hero Power Mage, which just can't quite get the pressure with the board control, can't quite get going. Some people have had some success with it, but it's really not a mainstream archetype. And then of course we've seen some support trickle in for big spell Mage, with cards like Celestial Inkset and the Pyromancer that will cast a spell from your hand. It's a 4/4 for 7 and just plays the highest spell cost card from your hand. So we've seen some of those cards trickle in, but I don't even think anyone's attempted it because all the big spells have been terrible. So your best option would be Mask of Cthulhu to randomly deal 10 damage, but that only costs 7 mana, so you don't hardly even need to cheat that out. I talked about some of the problems with Celestial Inkset in the past. The other good cards you're looking at are Grand Finale, which is going to summon 8/8 elementals based on how many elementals you've played last turn. And then you've got Deep Freeze, which freezes a character and then puts 2 water elementals on the board. It's just these cards are just not worth their cost. They're not worth the amount of investment that goes into making these costs. But now in Fractured in Alterac Valley, I think that might change with what I would consider the best card in the set for Mage, which is Rune of the Archmage. So Rune of the Archmage is a 9-mana spell, and it's going to cast 20 mana worth of spells that target the enemy. So the fact that it's going to target the enemy, that is critical. So you can get kills with this. Obviously if you can get the absolute nut draw with you can get multiple Mask of Cthulhu's and fireballs and all kinds of stuff going at them. Any of the other big spells that don't target, that do useful things for you, like Iceblood Tower, that's going to cast more big spells from your deck. All those are options, but because they target the enemy, it's just all upside. And for 9 mana by itself, that would be maybe playable as a capstone card, but with all the big spell support that Mage has been getting, this is the card that ties it all together. This is the card that can make the archetype work. It's the card that allows you to actually deal damage at the end of the game with a big spell. So they finally have that, and I think it's the best card in the set. I think it might also free us up in Wild to get something different than APM Mage or Ignite Mage. It'll still be combo-y and frustrating, but at least it'll be new and interesting. So Rune of the Archmage makes it all possible. Really excited to see how this card plays out. You compare it to stuff like Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron. I think this is just better because it targets the enemy. It's really cool. So that's the best card for me. As far as the worst, unfortunately, it is the new hero, Magister Dawngrasp. So the problem with Magister Dawngrasp is that it doesn't have that same bonus as Rune of the Archmage. So this hero is an 8-mana hero. You're going to get 5 armor, and then you get to recast 1 spell of each spell school that you've cast this game. So for Mage, that is fire, frost, and arcane, unless you have some kind of shenanigans where you're getting, nature, holy, or shadow, or fell, or something else. The 3 for mage are fire, frost, and arcane. Now, for 8 mana, recasting 3 of those spells, not so great. Unless it's all big spells and all just general, spell playing and nothing that needs to be targeted, then this can be good. But that's not the case. You're gonna need brain freezes, and you're gonna need fireballs, and you're gonna need some things like that are to help you get to 8 mana. And if you just recast a brain freeze on one of your own minions, or if you recast a hot streak that does nothing for you, you basically just spent 8 mana to gain 5 armor. Now, for your hero power, it changes your hero power to deal 1 damage, which is exactly the same as it was before. But on honor kill, it gives you +2 damage to your hero power, not spell damage. So, your hero power ramps up every time you get an honor kill. If you have to wait till turn 8 to do this, that is really lackluster. So, you're not ramping up. You can do that much easier with Wildfire, with Hero Power Mage, which already failed. That costs 1 mana. And you have to do honor kills. So finding a minion with 1 health on turn 9, if that's your game plan, that game plan sucks. So this card just, I don't really see it seeing play, even if you're playing big, especially if you're playing big mage, honestly, because you'd rather be spending 8 mana to play, a haymaker spell. So this card, really disappointing. I guess after Dawngrasp became such an overwhelming questline hero, they wanted to make Dawngrasp a underwhelming hero card, but it really doesn't. I don't really see what this card is going to be doing for anyone. The only exception is if you find the perfect 3 fire, frost, and arcane spells, and they're the only spells you play of those classes, and then you get to recast them again for 8. That's pretty much the only way I could see this being good. But even then, that's just so exact that the odds of you making that work are pretty slim. But I do want to talk about an interesting card for Mage, which is the only support that Mage got for one of its flagging archetypes, which is Elemental Mage, and that comes in the form of Build a Snowman. So Build a Snowman is a 3 mana spell that puts a 3/3 minion in play that freezes when it deals damage. And then you also get a spell in your hand that does the same thing as a 6/6 for 6, and then again as a 9/9 for 9. So we remember Pyros, which was an elemental that was a 2/2 for 2, a 6/6 for 6, and a 10/10 for 10 minion. And that saw a lot of action. It was also an elemental, and this being a spell is better for Mage, I think, because has better spell synergies. Also, the fact that this is going to be freezing is great. So, well, actually, I don't know if the fact that the spell is better, because you don't get the bonus to Grand Finale, but it does let you get elementals and do any kind of synergies for elementals. It's a lot of value in one card. The fact that it freezes means that it is going to be able to enable a big spell mage with the disruptive board control. Also, the fact that it's a frost spell is really important, because anyone who's played Questline Mage knows that their options for frost spells have been pretty weak. Pretty much the only good one is Ice Barrier, and you can only play one of those. So Build a Snowman by itself finishes the frost portion of your quest line. So that's pretty good, and lets you get some board presence too. So I really like the design of this card. It's a shame that it doesn't really work well for Grand Finale, but it lets you get some elemental support, lets you get some frost spell support, which was badly needed. So it's interesting that they printed it. I like the design, and we'll see if it sees any action. Anyway, let me know what you think of Mage. What do you think of the new big spells that are coming out? I'm really excited about them, but I'd love to see your respectful comments below on those. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Happy Hanukkah, and tune in next time.